are welcome to the most impactful, informative, and educative breakfast TV show. Yes, in the same exclusive on Globe Television. Do not forget that this program is streaming live on all social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Our platform, our handle name is Globetvgh. That is the name of our handle, Globetvgh. Again, you can follow us via our website is www.globetvonline.com. So that is a website through which you can also get us. Do not forget to obey to me the wabin so Edia WhatsApp line also 05912285840 05912285884. Mami hu adwenkyere e wo program no ho wo bra dwumedie no e koso afei so wo birthday wishes bia opese wo wish obi wo dofo bi me pa chobo modern fafa so fa bra na me kan emfa ma wo do social media no so a bo modern 4 password keys no like share we are na we leave comment wo honom e dia ma me opan so a wo do YouTube honom a na wa subscribe so ede account shanos mama say dwumedie je fast mixture NP capsules na eso masene e ma ye de dwumedie ede besom nemum mama nka asem kakra bi emfa nkyerɛw efa ebre ho time obahema na na manya mewa ewo me nkyɛn wa ha nti mede ne bebam kakra obahema ya kase ebra den na onim fa ebre ho time nti den na onim fa ho characteristics ben then na wonim fa ebre ho
you man say ebre time
right onim say ebre 1 second cry and say no because that ebre aye gina hai time a air no e contribute to yenyi nyi a yenyi no enti say udru bre bi mu na say wan fa o time no amfa nye bibia e de mfa so de bebre wa etumi determine e china ubenya hwe say obi eye adwuma wanya free time a ebia o de call park so kohwe ball leisure men ka say nye obi nso benya leisure e de akọ internet so akoye DIYs do it yourself no we sua se ne esi shower gel liquid soap ene niema ne bi na afedi ono ankasa e de saa time ne practice me pacho after 5 years o hwe omumie no ho na be benefit
oh dear ordinary dear no using a leisure time yeah bibi e de bibi no yeah ene benya so mfa so eno nti anope na me kire woni se entena sen kase woni hweye ento bundle emfa nko internet no so enko hwe eniema ehu hia onua se owo bibi a wo ya insanu dwuma bi te se tailor oyo bi a ye bibi te se seminar ana se wo ye duro ana insanu dwuma bi a wo ye bia no mepa chewo ko internet no so udru hono mo ajai fake pictures ni fake lifestyle na wo dey exhibit no then learn something from the internet, make use of your precious time wisely on the internet. And then bebuno no you do internet no so enema hu hia bebre na ye hwe asma making ye ni membo bi so nemo no say obetumi use so time na wo de hwe unnecessary things no e de esua bibia free internet no so kwawe adwuma yi kwan be na obetumi afa so improve productivity at the palm tailor kwan foforo be na obetumi afa so apam wade shower gel say me na wo produce product I produce no what innovative ways na obetumi dey apply na aboa ma wabrabo no etumi etumpo na ne awoye no so etumi akoso eno eho asem na enda no pay me ka kire wo no senior high school students amama kwan abafie yesremo montina si kom na sese Ghana enhye danjo sa se na muhu no emfa ho enkohye etutura asem bie mu asem a me kan me ka dia ma wo usua de a pe bibi esan fa ka ne a usua no ho wo ye student pe bibi sua wo internet no so e fa ka ne a usua no ho na ebeboa ama wabrabo etu empon aha ena mede dwumedie no motivation no e de AC minim sa wo twen topic a eba be ka ho asem demum mamema obahema na nama akwaba na afi de mensan imbisa na dwenkyere e wo ne me kan obapa bre se na me kire mu ne sa wo ti ase me chia kakra na se den na opeso de kan ho me da se na se meti wase a de me be kan won se 1 second krana e wo se wo ye nya bi
yes
efrim eba enfane say we me leisure time enti no me dey tina say relax and I say me wo brepi wo ho no enti metimi asay mu say and I say me di mu say be kwa koya de bia enfamfa so de bia bro enti no day in and day out no de bia bre no kwa na eko na ene pa ho a ye nya ene da we say ebio enti no wo say abribia no you make good use of your time
of your time and one no right Jeffers Mr. Pick Capsules ho asem na enda no pay me no mi no eba be hwehwe ho komo no mepa che wo ye oba be ma enemu sa yare ni wudi apreapre ndo na me ka asem bi se oba bi wo ho no ma se bi se ne ho ka ni ben na se insuo no start se eba na ya se kwan no tumi bie mepa che enye emema na ye mpesa ebia na be ma no oye brane but oba de sa na nyankopon bo eye den ye se ho kwan eye kese but eba bebra mepa che e wo se hu se problem wo ho Jeffers mixture and P capsules fa ho etoto so bema enye se meka ne se ntina che se oba na oben na o se wonya bema no ntina che se oba no ho kwan so da bi ebia na wo so bema no twikomu atwa koma ye kete bomoden fa ho to eduro no so mame me patro pese otumi gina wona so se general me gina he ya bomoden ma won sanka eduro ni bi okọ drugstore biara eben wo ka tro me se ope eduro na anoma ebuburo fita eda ho no hye no so mame se eduro no etumi se boost immune system a boosty immune system ema ohun ye dendende enti sa wo yare sa wo nyare wo betumi de wo ho ato eduro no so kotunu do so pofa kogu fie na ma obaba no obabema no ukunu oyere onana ono so emfa no ho to so impo ofa yefunu a from 6 months wo betumi de aye obam duro na wo behunu
mesem so abefie awofo no moma monimbre na monko page fast mission titi ne ma no momfa ma wo mu na omunonom obo won ma abofre bo no abefie no ene wo yare wo china wo yare wo school mo kwa wo frefre so wo yare wo page fast mission no ebi ma no nonom na emboa no na enyi niema bia ya konsidie wo nipadua nim no enyi ni na enfemfo general no wo kan obebo ho no ma he be ma no kwa no ho ase boso so da wa ne so da ho wo page fast mission no ebi na ema bibia enye kama yeso mu ano watide no ati Jeffers mixture and P capsules enye na e wo herbal shop ene shop bia menstrual pains e wo so wonya re kura nya menstrual pains kura no bi hu wa wo se da ba me ha obu ne nsa no esa se wo de every month wo don sa to ya ase wo pe Jeffers mixture no ebi na embo na ye de wa ye calendar no na ye njai sa enti no Jeffers mixture se de me kan ye no wo ko herbal shop ene pharmacy shop bia wo so pe Jeffers ya ma wa no bi ne de foforo ma wa wo se me pe Jeffers mixture nya na enti wo ko herbal shop bia obenya bi ato ewo honom
na ma katwisi na me ho yi unsa wo se tegum enye yize kra na ma me pressure wo studio hapa chief yo me dem nkasa right. So let's begin with a headlines review. There are a lot of stories making headlines on the front pages of the papers. Now this is the Chronicle newspaper. We have Afenyo Makin here, minority leader. Afenyo Makin fight for dismissed Ghanaian workers. Some time ago we heard from the president John Dramani Mahama that people or workers who were recruited into the system from December after December 14th or something to February the 10th are going to be dismissed from government public offices. So Afenyo Makin is fighting for them. Gold Board is a very serious error in judgment. Now Mahama's lean government claim is a hoax. According to Abu Jinapo, he's appointed over 100 ministers than the 60 he purported.
I was a former son, sir, and some do not pay what they are my no. Yan so ye di a moon and mamma ye first year. Now ye did the Chronicle and a first year. No, and our Razak Kujo Opoku at the Atuja, Chester Gold Board now. And this Amayo Mudiabo Mumma, Bontimate Magana, Frontier, say people now. Peso mubabano and yes de Ghana for you I was here she should pay and say and shadanye bias and tinocratano edimu amanebo abraham hase dom do bano deni Alexander and Fenyo Makin info you know hase say emfa okoji aman manu si emfa agema manu so saje fu so wa chese watu no ho asiwo esa wo mu a ebra na abandada no ewo abemu no nipa ofo madwuma ni nada ndc amanyeku His Excellency John Dramani Mahama edo manu a wo chese obi afa na adwuma to honom no wo chese wono wotu no ho so no wako amasa ankrofo no dese wo saje fu no yemfa ma no
yemfa ma no
ana
yemfa ma no se ana yemfa no koji amai
I just said Okoja my afedoma kintino krata ne dimu amanebo arben wo hasem enka ne so afo no hwen sa se ene obade bobre ho stem so Samuel Abugina Paul ede atudwa e wo hasem wo chese bra na mahama eye ne campaign no ensem ba kwa na wo kan ebi ene se oba ode aso afo aduosia 60 pe ene bedi djuma e wo memu ampa oba ye no wo chese 60 na chese ode ye adwuma chese nyese de Ghana for ye hunu no na aso afo nko amahama afo wo mu da payroll so ye ba betu mu ka no e 100 ntinya sa 60 na wotu a wonu se mahama ya denti yenso ane so esan so de aso afo aduosia pe na edidwuma no enti krata no the chronicle edi anope wode bre ye no.
Now in the Daily Guide news paper there is a very sad news and we console the families of the affected. Odumase fire explosion kills 3, although not much. Even a single soul lost to a disaster is can affect the family, because these people may be people who the family depends on. So may their soul rest in peace. But that notwithstanding, let's all advise ourselves that those of us using explosive materials like cylinders and coal in an enclosed area, please, let's be very careful about it. Ghana gas for now, I catch you say, yenso gas ewo confined area, at least ma space kakra embra ho anase manenye baby amframa etumi den efa, because some of these things do lead to fire explosion, especially bra waso gas no in a confined area. Heat ni generate sana bo say etumi kofa disaster, but etumi mo emphasize nema we emfa into your home. Now Nana and Kufuor storm Independence Day celebration. Of course, yesterday we saw the former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. GES backtracks on non-payment staff GES backtracks on non-payroll staff sacking. So these are the few stories.
The Daily Guide to so no enra dayeni na ye hungana edi ni birthday eduesian wo 68 years enya asem keto Ghana yenya yemfa hudi nto kire se His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo mapanyin dada ena afenso so mampanyini John Ajekum Kufuor omu ekọ dwumadie no asibinti no omu mienu ni na no Daily Guide edo mu fonyini aba wa hase atorenchem ayeti ye ewo odumase wo kire se nipa miensa ena eti na nanomo ewo ensi edo GS ede babonten wo chese bra His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de babonten wo chese o ma ye true December 7th abato ni wie ya babandada ne fa o madwuma mu bia fa na adwuma ento onom no mo de krata babonten mo chese wo enwumasuani mu e wo so so ye sa pepepe tete wo chese o masan epinu machi kakro mo chese o nya aboten tete no o mu atwentwen so kakranti no Daily Guide edia ode breye no.
Right, so we move on to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Mahama visits voter tidal wave victims in page 12 of the paper. Yesterday, we saw that right after the Independence Day inaugural speech by the president, he went ahead to visit victims of the tidal waves in the Volta region. And of course, it was very, very, very sad. Homes are broken down, cemeteries are being exposed, farms are being destroyed as a result of the tidal waves. We beseech the president to act immediately, since he himself was there yesterday to ascertain the degree of the problem. We saved 95% of estimated 20 million Ghana cedis budget, according to President John Dramani Mahama. The Independence Day celebration was supposed to have cost us 20 million Ghana cedis and over. But then, due to the limited approach in its celebration, according to him, Ghana was able to save 95% of that amount. I agreed with Akufo-Addo's request to step down as majority leader to avoid an implosion of in the NPP. This is according to Che Mensa Bonsu. Few stories making headlines on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
The Daily Dispatch idea ewa hase bra enra na Ghana edi ni birthday no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama edi nsem dodo no ana tuja wo kire se eye ya wo ka se 6 March no ye fa nko Jubilee House ni enye ne kuma bi enkane na nka ye bodwa datam ewo me ya hodo na wodo ani hu na nkrofo yi March no wo kire se ebo aye papa a wo kire se Ghana sika 20 million Ghana cedis na nka abibia ye de ekọ man nkrofo na mu de amache ni ade no ye save mu 95% government na say enya asem K20 no krata ne di mu amanebo aben ha se no ka say we ya e no de nani e kire flamantem a wona epo asoche ne boy ye adehia wo ho e kan ye no wo ko ya wo no mu so ekokodi enkomonti no e no so no krata ne di mu amanebo no aben e wo ha se enka ne mrahye bedwani de ma adehia na e wo so ame no san so e ye dom dodo no ba no de ni de ma NPP amanyuko no o say Mensa bonso de atudwa se bra na oye dom dodo ba no dani na ye hu ne ye no aba bonte a wo kire se mercy form no wo kire se na na dodan kwa akufu ado ne de sense so ne ba ye eno no so eje no wo akoma pem se de be ya na eniema bia na efrase ebobo ba wo NPP amanyuko num no na eto no ebetumi
etra NPP for ne bi ekire se ase waje party no aboso so
Mensa bonso
ya Mensa bonso sana na.
It's the Daily Dispatch.
Right, so we move on to the custodian newspaper program back on definitions. KOJO NSAA-KWAO, former communications and in fact housing minister, mocks NDC on 24-hour economy. So also here, Abu Jinapo exposes Mahama over lean government scam. Government borrowing from treasure bills to hit 72 billion Ghana cedis today. This is according to Gideon Boakon. Now, your mass dismissals pose serious security risk. Afenyo Markin tells Terminator 1. No, Terminator 1. That is Mahama. So that's the new term for John Dramani Mahama. Now, Razak Kojo Opoku writes, Ghana Gold Board is serious error in judgment.
The custodian ever has said, Kumano Bano Denny Edia Tuja Watcher say, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, admire Ford Ronoa, your Fauma, which is a move from Majuma, and from Ehun, and I wouldn't him. Watch say Ehun to the moon, Amanibono, Abraye, Ewo, Ahase. Sounds so, and I Kojo upon my baby Abiche Mono, and an hour or year or swap for washing money at dancing on some so Ewo Memu. Also, there are Tuja Watcher say 24-hour economy, and this Amanukuna Edia Banoches or Marcas or Muntiasi. Program back up, we bar on Channel Becanadia, we bar no Becanadia, and I know a brand of Mubo campaign more no. The Kai NDC neighbor watcher say, oh, 24-hour economy, say we ain't Jatana, the Benam say, Mamma Baco so buy or say, we are in our hospital, we are in our fear, then no answer watch phone, one for ambulance, no maba, no mother short, ambulance neighbor, wow.
But actually 24-hour economy now John Dramani Mahama can was no purposely on the agriculture sector agric sector because one say ye ba process or plan say be add value to nyama na you produce no nti you go to bank you be make sure say be to extract starch efrim value addition na export into 24-hour economy na agric sector na be di mutinti my pa
antini be film na say e be so continue kojo oponkoma say 24-hour economy no a program back up ho ncheche mu bebrebe obi aba bonten a no aba beka ne de samo abujina ponka ne so afa no hensase no oba de bobre ho sem so akasa na o kire se Mahama oye Ghana mampanyini bra wo ba bem wo se wo de asoafo aduosia 60 ene bedi dwuma so ne no omuburo 100 intikrata no ede aba Gideon Boakon ede asuja wo twese say treasury bill no aba no guso a obo bosia ewo mu honum na enche bia ebedru 72 billion Ghana cedis eno ene sema hodo the custodian and so the brain.
The Ghanaian publisher also reports that minority leader tells parliament to stop Mahama's lawless conduct now. Now, according to him, Mahama's lawless conduct is the result of he dismissing some workers from the government sector due to the fact that he calls them late recruitment or whatever. And so, minority leader is now asking that Mahama stops these kind of actions he is taking because it is setting a precedent and a bad one, of course. Jinapo strips presidency naked, says 100 ministers are on payroll. And down here, EBLF to champion mental health and inclusivity. You know, this is very, very important. And I'm say time so our mental health, you know, yes, and easy. Who say yes, waka jatapa. Or the pressure you know. Right, about him at first.
The Ghanaian publisher Eddie Ewo has say afenyo marking dom kuma no ba no deni Eddie atu jamra shibedwa for chese awase mo sechere mo sen na mo ka kire mampanyi John Dramani Mahama say ade a wo ye no enye etiamra entwamra antino ode no aba ewo ahase entino entwamra wonka say entwamra so ne de ade Etino or the others so aba ewa hasenti no Mahama or just say adwayefo na ozo move madwuma to them ne ade no etiamro but you know but
Andra won say na me cousin be say I was say to eboas na yehwe sa asem no because there may be more to it than senior you no nti omo ankasa enyom hwehwemu yie because some of these things on be count one betum afide na akwa say you are joining propaganda Nti that is it.
Nti Jinapo ensma hodo awaka o chese His Excellency John Dramani Mahama asofo aduesi on ka so be fa no boa nipa 100 na da payroll so no krata no di mu amane bo amayewa.
Now in the informal newspaper, minority and majority tangle over bloated presidential appointment. As alleged by Abu Jinapo that the president has appointed 100 ministers. Now Boku needs peace. Mahama factions, two factions. Yesterday we said about that, and I think Obahima Nanama, Queen of the Airwaves, also commented on the detrimental effect of the conflict they are having, you know, particularly in that town Boku. Yesterday the president emphasized on that Boku needs peace. We need peace in Boku, for that matter Ghana. Now Vice President Ernest Rawlings, for promoting academic excellence, transfer of government projects, CDD urges politicians to follow due process. Now Gambia Jospon Group partner to tackle waste challenge in African way.
I'm sure you know.
Okay.
Yadi the informer edie ena etwa so na wo chese dom kuma ne dom dodo a ewo mrahye bedwam na enya asam keto akra efa oswafo a enkane no ohwe nsase na oba de bobre ho sem so sama bugina ponsma hodo a wode ba abonten a wo chese His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oswafo a wotua omuka no ebro 100 enye sa 60 na oba abonten a oba be kan ye ntikrata no abo amane wo ha sei enrada na Ghana edi ne birthday no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama edi tuja wo chese boko mente me ho ase ne basabasa ye to kwan ketenkete ya na ma no kwan to kwan se nye to kwan ketenkete ni pe ba to kwan ya na ma no homene so e wo boko no mpanyifo hwe ni manimu ya no omuma asumdwe embra Gambia nye easy kwa Gambia na Jospon Group of Companies omunso so akomuntuma ede esi ania wo chese omu baba be hwe na waste challenge wo abibrem ha sei no omatumi etu ho anamo no ebeboa pa the informer ede anope wo bo ano a ode besomo ye ne.
Right, so let's move on to our next newspaper. And okay, right, so that's it, we are done. But Obahima Nanama ohwe Endra president no inaugural speech our debate to Jano or Kasafa 4 areas bia or say Nigerian also and they say opeso make Ghana a business friendly environment na investors it to me ba afin so or hwe ni mu say be ya koma boy economy no sensem no e betumi improve Endra ne nsem o kan no odia na ohwehwe eba mu ana say wan bo odie so kra minimum de wan bo media so na ye na me hwe enema pi na afri no honom ba manage say enyo no mom kra na o kan na ebi mo so nsema hodom ba bet kan ye fa adusua ho sensem no eto makoma so end many edge na me bia me kan Ghana ye nye developed afi na ye development no de na mo bia otu a wo hwa ebeboa na empanyifo so kama empanyifo so be mo ado mu be kan no wo hwe no de ka ne de ho na ebeboa na wo de atu anamo e de amaye na afi so se de na dom kuma wo mrahye bedwam e ka se na soafo no do so ne ade ade eno no ka ho de ba wo se Mahama ba bonti no obeyi no wo ya we se Mahama asoafo adusi o ka so be fa wo mu no eno no wo ho no ba nkrofo wa mu appointment wo Ghana ha se no e do so pa internet so baba be ye wa ba bonti be ka se ama ye bo wa ba so se sei na wo so ba wo be duduma asoafo adusi ade eye na se na wo ye adan ko da adwe na se anda de no wa so ankrofo akogu wa ka che ho no but sanity because yeah na sometimes some can say to me challenge kakra on say omo ministers and omo sanwo omo deputies wo is it the inclusion of their deputies and I say ministers no ko
omo deputies
into omo deputies they are definitely is going to be somewhere 120 because ministries no or say what 60 into be answering deputy baba
Ah, deputies make a home 60 and deputy cause also over 60.
Okay.
Or so over 60. Sen ka odo ma be de cheno or ka so do mu be kan wan ka me dis over 120 say dey welcome. Ba we no buy o ka say 60. One in the past 60 ministers and a bedi juma. Yes, we are here.
And as other 40 now be kan ho no. Yen question yi because e bia won said minority to me may very careful because minority to me den same be ba obedi achire no na
necessary 40 na ba be kan ho no eh omu a ye tua omu ka as ministers
ye tua omu ka as ministers
the minority no ye tua omu so ka as ministers because so be fa nipa 60 e ba ya payroll no nipa 100 and e was so ye tua omu ka as I don't know.
Enti John Dramani Mahama you stressed on accountability and draw all redo speech no o stress on accountability yes so Brabonten na be kire mu kire Ghana for the entire oka so for 60 ministers na akowi 100 say etisasa ne a honorable Abujinapo e kire na Ghana for yenye ho ntia say otherwise we will start to ye be hitiwa wa bo say all right enti e twa ho ha na the first segment no e de ebesi minim say we ni age ho but e was say to aso mi twa me ho aba me ne oba hema na na manya me wa yakra ye ba isia.
Your friend is of Mamina na Hayford. Me yen century me say your actress. And then you ma who do pee keka ho. And na me dwuma dinti. Ma po me den ho hia me papa na se ba ma po me den ho dia. And one Jifax mixture. Bonje. Jifax mixture nti me ti me gina papa tenten so. Just say Jifax mama your best mu ankasa. Me nia be ma. Ebama wusu wa ye be mama pa. Senti ameji Jifax Mr. Tumpre kopeni say. Edro no ho te ye de afa abefu nimdie kwan so. Eni fidie won wosuom e na ye ne friendship kroje. Ye no nti ma ye resade. Enu wane Jifax mixture. Na momitie enye ma penfo oba a o ma akwala no fo. Ana akwala onyanya emfie dumienu.
FDA ahwehwe saa edwadie nkratoɔ yi mu agye atum sɛ ɛyɛ
Jifax mixture pa.
Mamenda was say fidie no egusuda Globe Television yes send the sign away nuguswa wo hwe no hwe no so ma be say dwumedie etwego live ewo social media platforms no so mamente wonka fafa WhatsApp line so 059 1228584 ehefa na wo hwe me free mamente wonka enda no pay fafa so efabra ehefa na wo hwe me free 059 1228584 now endra yamampanyi ede nano disem ede betudwa ewo Bragana is celebrating the 68th independence anniversary. Now, in fact, in Penyufo Kukudam Kopie ho, including Yera Nanado Dankwa Ekufuado. En Samba Kumyenumi and Sebia John Dramani Mahama editu jano. Otie, but bia one channel so say sa areas no ewo asachere meaning bia ewo sa no pay menu mienu etwetwe eho nkomo. Kai say John Dramani Mahama and bra na all kind of speech no ochire areas bia eda na koma so a ohwe enimu se obesiesie obeboa na ehonum etumi atenetene nia edikan ayese oma economy no eniama bo abafom ediama manfo no se be ya inflation ene ekoma yesu ni sika yesu se eni o man no in fact eso bete ano bebrase kakra afen so ochire se oye big country no business friendly environment na ama investors omo abonten etumi aba be investment omo san ba be investment o Ghana na afen so infrastructure development ena nia etwato tackling corruption enutina bra na me kasa na me kire se John Dramani Mahama o kire se o tackle corruption dia ye pa chew 100 ministers are Abuja po claim say wa point no come out and come and tell God, come and explain to us say it is na yehunu because we actually need it. Now the entire Emma president no inaugural speech no ehu hia say ebedi hu komonie Ghana yegina kwantin fi anase nkwantanan so na kwantanan no bebi a obefa no ene be kire we wieye bebi a obewie eniti bebi a yegina no na ye pese yehunu nhihye be na NDC John Dramani Mahama de begu akwemu wakane bebre akan dodo this time any problems and or the betu dwa na mum or the solutions and niema or the egu akwemu ye fra be short term long term goals. It is short term yimu no militiawe yimu no enema be no de egu akwemu a ebeboa ama economy no adane. In fact ye se ne say ye boy homoden ye yimu be 4 a ye no mienu ebe twetwe nko me snappy because ye ne panyin kwankyerefo a in fact na dwemu do when it comes to issues of economics eba betwetwe nkomo wa homa no so na ye bisa no senia John Dramani Mahama anamo a otu ede aboa ma yakọ homa ho sensem etumi etumpo no etesa anase bibi foforo wo hono mo a ewo se ye hweye nia edikan John Dramani Mahama kasafa the global shift and Ghana's position na ochire say G7 countries chese Britain and France ne other countries ekaka ho including US ewo no omakọ mabọ ho sensem no eba fom. In fact omu GDP rate no bafom omu sikasem ne omahoden no eba fom but ohwe BRICS Brazil Russia and India ne ekaka ho na including China and South Africa enso so ka ho any other countries na omu kwa no omu kosoro enu nti ono no hu ne se ewo se yetumi ehwe yanam otuo ni ye ne yehu bebi a ye begina se ye ne ne a oba fom ne ba begina anasa ye ne ne a okosoro ne ba begina now eden na egina ho edema menu mi den na asekire ne sen de ma menu mi no asekire ni na ne se sabre ya G7 countries no eba fom no omo so na titiru pa ye ne omu di djuma titiru pa ye kobo bosen omo ho titiru pa ye ne omu edin sa woso enti se eba fom a ebia reliance bit se aduane ne na se fom de maya say sanima ni nyina no e wo se esote na yankasa yesua se ye be produce ama ye ho because breaks no o join a ono no de ne se nya wo ye no produce fama manfo no aha na omo so enya esomfaso ansana o de akwa abonten entu be kai a bra Ibrahim Traore eba aban mu Burkina Faso no oko Russia efiri ho no e na yete se imputuo no e koso sa enti breaks ene G7 for no ensusu ya dan tempa enye eno ho nkomo na eba bedi but nea ekire no se Ghana ansha na ye de ho akobo eku a ebia na Russia for no aha ena ejo sa ku no na ye ne omedin sa wo so se be ya enema bi a ye kra efri sa man no ba no ombe hu so ne omafa yonko a eso ete nea etoso mienu enie resetting the economy. Na ebra John Dramani Mahama kasa no o kire se o the 24-hour economy eba betudwa eba be ye djuma enche na ye de bedi djuma utie ni speech a o kan ye na agric sector no titiriu na eba be make use of 24-hour economy no because we are coming to add value to what we produce ye de insusanso fro eba be kan enema ye no online mu anasa ndoba ya do no online no emu no ansana ye de akọ abonten enti koko ne be dandan no ahwe kwan foforo ye betumi afaso yisu koko no na afei aboa nea etoso miensa eye mbebunu no the Ghanaian youth Ghanaian youth no embebu no ene se edan hihye na aban no ede egu ho de ama embebu no aban ba eko are they committed omo wo pepa se omo be sachira embebu no asetenam na yetumi ejina brane okọ China one of the youngest millionaires youth umahum babu no achese omanya omo ho menka se bi ni Ghana ase but ohwe number na kwaya omo fa so nya omo ho no more legitimate oye young guy na se wenya no ho ho no mo a kwaya ofa so no more legitimate esen obi owo Africa oye young guy a wenya no ho eno no ye raise question mark kakra wo ho enti kwan be na dem policies na bind be gu akwan mu na edin sachiraye ama enwuma aba man babu no nya biaye kwawe adwuma a John Dramani Mahama eka ho asebi edan hihye na ade ba be gu honom ama aya kono mamanfo no etumi ewremu bi Nana Don Kwaku for the planting for food and jobs at the buy but actually kra na fertilizer yetumi nto actually na enema ye de kwafuom etumi ekọ ye enobaye anase etumi de koye efuom adwuma no it was not there because the expense that's okọ o kraba expense that's no untumi ntua okọ akoyaba na obeto ne sen na ho na beto enti se wo de sa 24-hour economy we e de aba na se John Dramani Mahama eyampa se wo dwen babunu no ho a then I was so making sectors be to agriculture sector tourism and services so money here very lucrative edema babunu no se be ya yenso so ye kon bedo se ye de ho ebewura sa eniam anim no nia etwato a John Dramani Mahama kan wasem a ye beyi ede ama ye wi na yakọ ye penyi ho ene no akotwetwe nkomo that is Mr. Gajo right enti ni etwato national unity security and health in fact nansen no yare ama ne ho so wo oman ni mu na John Dramani Mahama se say ahonedie ho sensem no oba be hwe ama nani akoho na aboa ma yare ahodo a ama ne ho so te se cholera ene CSM no yetumi ahwema ano abrase na in terms of security no so security bambo ho sensem in fact na me expect man panyin say obeka asem bi de akire esa omo etwa anase kwan bi a omo befa so e de aboa na nansen ewudie ene ne kaka ho a ekoso no ano abrase na impo omo de omo ho akwaje sa ne manim no e den na ye de ye won na ayesua de e de ama mene wo mienu enti these are the areas John Dramani Mahama endra wobra na okan ne inaugural speech no or de ebetudwa na me bisa won se wo de wom otibi e den na wote ye onso de wom bia na for adwen kire no fa 05912285884 no so efa bra na afede yenkin kan kama emfa mawo ene se commitment right enti good morning Mr. Gajo and welcome to Globe TV. Right. So this morning we are talking about John Dramani Mahama's reset agenda plan. Yesterday, considering the theme for the Independence Day celebration, reflect, review, and reset. Now he made emphasis on some 4 areas he wished to focus on to enhance the economy. And first and foremost, we want to know how can Ghana strategically position itself in the shifting of the world order.
Thank you very much. Ghana has been through some crisis just after the COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war, to the extent that we are no longer on the international financial market to solicit for funds, foreign funds to subsidize with our foreign currency. So what we can do now is to maintain a posture that shows that we are really serious about our fiscal discipline, reduction of expenditure, and revenue mobilization or revenue generation. When we maintain that posture, it is going to send a signal to the international community that we are indeed capable, or we are thinking about what we can do internally to resolve some of the challenges that we are facing, like high unemployment rate, revamping every sector of the economy, so that anybody who is into production can get whatever factors of production that is at hand for you. We can see that quite recently, because of the Galamsey menace, our water bodies have been destroyed. What it means is that companies who will need our water, and every company will indeed need water for production, they may not have it in that quantity. So the posture that we maintain and send a signal to the international community is what is key now. And I think that that is the only way we can put ourselves in the global, as a country that is much more serious about revamping its economy.
So, following what you just said, what are some practical steps we must take to stabilize the economy before even implementing the 24-hour economy policy?
Yes, thank you very much. You can see that quite recently, the posture from government is some of the things that they are supposed to do. For example, if you heard President yesterday, they spent about 1.5 million Ghana cedis on the Independence Day celebration, coming down from 20 million budgeted Ghana cedis for the event. You can see that this posture clearly shows the international community that these people mean business by reducing what expenditure. You can really see that this government, when they came in, they decided that whatever money that we have available through taxes that has been mobilized for the past 6 weeks, we are going to use those monies to pay the bond holders, those that we are supposed to pay. They pay them, I think, about 15 or 14 billion Ghana cedis. And those billion Ghana cedis that they give to these bondholders, obviously they are not going to spend all of them within a day or two. So then, after giving them the 15 billion or 14 billion, those people came to buy the treasury bill. So there was a higher demand for the treasury bill. And so what would have been done under the normal circumstances for the treasury bill interest rate to come down. That is why you can see that the treasury bill has moved from 29% to around 27 for the 360 and to some extent 23 for the 90-day bill. So it's just some of the practical steps they need to do to lower the interest rate. And I think now their main focus will be on how to stabilize the currency. And instead, in the stabilization of the currency, one practical thing they need to do is that, government has a stake in these multinational companies which are in Ghana, or some of the multinational companies in Ghana. All those people will be paying dividends. So the directive, to the extent that those dividends are paid in foreign currency, will show up our foreign currency reserves. And that will be used to match against the demand for importation in the interim. So these are the things that must be done to stabilize. So you can see signs from revenue expenditure reduction. You can see signs from a reduction in ministers. That is also a part of the revenue reduction. You can also see signs of trying to stabilize the interest rate on the main source of government revenue. Now we can't borrow outside. The only source of government revenue is the treasury bill rate. And so if the treasury bill rate is very high, then it means that when you borrow from them, you pay very high. So they paid, people came to buy, the interest rate has come down. And I think they are going to focus in the next quarter for the treasury bill rate to come down again to stabilize the interest on the market. Then afterwards, as we stabilize interest, it will have a rippling effect in the stabilization of the inflation rate. Then when you get these macroeconomic indicators well and upward, you can now go on to implement policies like the 24-hour economy, which I think is one of the policies that, if they are able to implement it very well, it's going to show up our revenue generation. Because if the current, in most of the sectors, about 50 or 40% of the sectors are running a 24-hour economy, these additional people who are going to be employed are going to be are going to pay salaries. Their salaries, they are going to be income taxes on them. These people will be getting, they'll be paying some other indirect taxes, which is going to increase the revenue generation by government. And you can see from his posture, from what he read yesterday at the State of the Nation, that they want to try with the private sector. They want to engage the private sector. For most of the private sector to start the 24-hour economy. if the private sector starts the 24-hour economy, the argument that the government will have to generate money now to pay for salaries in the private sector for 24-hour economy, while they are saying there's no money, it's not going to be the case. Because if the private sector starts, the private sector are going to pay more, and when they pay more, it means that those people who will be employed also their income taxes are going to increase government revenue. So these are things that I think that in the interim should be done. The process is very, very key, and I think that the government for now is well on track on the issue that is supposed to.
Right. So apart from these fiscal measures to shore up our revenue, some Ghanaians are of the view that President Mahama said yesterday that we need to raise revenues internally in order to cater for our own needs than to be going outside every day borrowing. Does it not mean that he's here to introduce more taxes? Because very soon he'll be scrapping some nuisance taxes. According to him, he'll be scrapping some nuisance taxes off. Therefore, revenue from these taxes will be blocked. We are going to rely on road tolls. And how else can we raise revenue if not adding up more taxes?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, our problem as a country is not with the number of taxes that we introduce. Our problem as a country is our position to widen the tax mix, so that those people who are operating and are not paying taxes. For example, we go to social media, you see a lot of people who are doing online marketing. Somebody will be in Techiman, will sell something to me in Uniba, and export the thing to me. I get the thing, the person that don't pay taxes. What are we going to do to bring those people into the bracket? You see professionals like lawyers, like accountants, who do some consultancy services and they are paid on the job. Some of the money that they are paid are not captured on the book. These things are things that we need to do to widen the tax list. So our ability to widen the tax list to generate more revenue from the untapped areas within the economy is what the focus should be. So that because the more you introduce more taxes and indirect taxes, then your tax system will move from a progressive tax system to a retrogressive tax system, which is against the tenet of taxation. If our taxation should be aimed at a progressive, where when you earn more, you are supposed to pay more, so that those who earn less are supposed to pay what? Less. But the introduction of more indirect taxes, that is going to rope in what? The informal sector, people who are earning money and are not being captured, is what the focus should be in this administration. That is what I think to be one of the lessons, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed to monitor how government is going to do what, going to increase its revenue by widening the tax list. You have a lot of people within the economy who are making a lot of money and are not being taxed. That should be the way forward, and not introduction of new taxes. Yes, I'm expecting that some of the old taxes are going to be reviewed upwards, and I'm expecting that some taxes are going to be reduced, especially those focused on the private sector, to encourage them to start the operationalization of the 24-hour economy. Indirectly, if you give them that rebate and they start employing people, you also get more taxes. You are going to boost their production. Boosting of production means that more profit, and you're also going to get your revenue through that. So I'm not expecting expansion. I want them to expand the tax list for the untapped areas to be captured. And I think that is where our former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his administration ended. They ended by digitalizing the economy. So the more you digitalize, the more you capture more people into the tax list. That issue operate from that angle, and I think that things are going to be better for the country.
So, what policies must accompany the 24-hour economy to create real opportunities for young people?
Yeah, the first policy is that you should have some incentive, obviously, for somebody to double or triple his workforce. It means that there's going to be huge pressure on the person's wage bill. And so if there's going to be huge pressure on the person's wage bill, what opportunities are you also giving the person to in order to relieve the person from this expenditure shock? So I'm expecting for some incentives, some subsidies within some sub-sectors within of the economy. And I'm also expecting massive education. We need to educate people to know that we are not just employing you to come and sit, sleep. We are not just as we see in most of our hospitals. You go there and you see nurses and some of the people who are attending patients at night. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them, are usually seen idle and are not working. We don't want that situation for the 24-hour economy. So we need to have some massive education on why you are being employed at a 9 6, and there should be key performance indicators for these people. They should be matched against their performance should be matched against the target for which they were employed. And this is the only way we are going to get value for money. So I'm expecting key incentives from government. They should make sure that they embrace the international community, and I'm also expecting massive engagement. Just as we started with the National Economic Forum, they should engage with the Ghana Industry Association and other stakeholders, Ghana Chamber of Commerce and other stakeholders who will be key drivers of the 24-hour economy. So as we know, they apply. I had an opportunity to go to Takoradi the last week, and I realized that those in the oil and gas sector are facing some crisis. What is government going to do to resolve those crises in terms of the rate coming on shore? These are things that we need to do. Government should engage them and not just tell them that implement 24-hour economy.
Okay, our time is almost up, but within a minute, I want clarity to this question. Are you impressed with the way about the way the president is handling the economy? Are you impressed?
Oh, so far we are not getting the machineries ongoing, but I think the posture of revenue expenditure cuts, the posture of continually reminding Ghanaians that we all need to be involved in the decision making, the extent that an economic forum has been organized and the issues within the economic forum are going to be captured in the next budget. To the extent that the confidence from international bodies are coming. I think that to some large extent I'm impressed, especially this first few weeks. You've seen that all those who bidded for treasury bill, most of them were not taken. Some of them were cut, and it's a good sign that we are not just needing the money for escape, but you can bid and buy treasury bill, but you can still be rejected by government. This process, I think that is a good signal. And in terms of governance too, the inclusivity of the governance of the next current government is also good. The previous government did their best, but they couldn't tackle all aspects. And this one is just an improvement of what the previous government has done. So for the first 2 weeks, 2 months, I think that things are okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Gadjo, for your time with us this morning.
You are welcome, my brother.
Right. And Mr. Gadjo, or your economist, now you know etwetwe nkomo edefa John Dramani Mahama ninsem a wode betudwa. In fact 80% of nsem a Ndra president kai no na efa oman na akohomabo ho nsensem enti na eho behia se ebekọ panyin kwankyerefo ne nkyɛn ma wama yen nkyerase a ewo ninsem a okan enim na. In fact okyerɛ mu a steps a John Dramani Mahama ahyase eteki no eye kwan papa na ni nyina na yese ohwɛ Ndra budget oboso se osanka yetumi di Independence Day celebration wo bra Ghana yewura ahohiahia mu no. In fact over 20 million Ghana cedis na wetumi ateso aba 1.5 million Ghana cedis. Sa nema wei ene nia eka ka ho no ekasa kire international communities eye BRICS ena G7 no ekiremo Ghana yegina bre ene krado ayaye se yebesa kira enema mu na eno so etumi influence senia aman foforo ene yen edi insawoso obi wo kora bi ano pese oni eba be didwa nanso so esane the high cost of living into no ya na osuro but onya ntie se Ghana say enema say na masha say mo start the enema so sa alarm no ekona so mu a mepa che e ma ne kondo se obeba na one yen aba be yedwuma afen so panyin ne kire se aban no scrapping of allowances taxes be a oye free wonom to say betting tax e-levy covid ne na ka ho no. In fact na edio sika bre oman no enti na chese yi sa taxes ni free wonom a enya de se benye sika obebia enti so aban no esi so dua se ye ba be register woman ni mu a na chese taxes na osan di bi esan dia be ka ho e na papa no kire se enti sa ye was some sectors some areas wo economy ni mu a ye betumi ataxe aban no enya tax ye wo timamufo bi wo hono a ye biabia enwuma e wosan ka etua taxes etumi je sa taxes a ebetumi aboa ama yakohoma bo sika ede bo akohoma no. In fact epeja bebre na enso sa sectors yi ase ye bu ye ni eguso enti eno na wo hu ne se aban no as an economist was studying we say eno na ban no eba be target enti asumesi ebie company kese pa nanso onhwe so ntua ne tax ye call no mu an tax nkwa ebeje no ebetumi aboa ama ebia dan bi epesi ekosie no yetumi esi suku dan bi ekwan bi anase hospital mpa bi yose edekoto no yetumi ede akwakoto enti na ne okan no na in fact osan ekire mu ekire se ohwe the way John Dramani Mahama esi manage economy na for now by reducing even the ministers are or say or reducing no a signal say the man is poised for action and unti ebe take time kakra dey because afa no dey the machineries no eba be go akwam ebe take time kakra enti yenkoso a entenase na yenso yendi ekire semtwefo yenso yedi eni di ekire kama pa ni John Dramani Mahama ede be ba bonti bia so ebe make sure say ye bedomu esuko na ye de ababeso mu nemo hye no so say abreni abribia maka asem we say ye mpanyufo no ensem na obeka no enye din o boshe na obehye no enye din mbebunu odi arehemu be ma ye say montoma me na say ni say meye ABCD enye din so obeka sansem no but with time asha say enema ekoso after 2-3 years and as after 1 year krano after one say okokobisa na ye ka different stories e chiro it say John Dramani Mahama pese o kire say nia oka no enye bosremu kansem bi na oka e dia dede Ganafo e dia ma yetima ye dede a ne sem o oka no onhwe so na onye ne pepepe sa enfamaye 100 ministers ombra bontin be chirim John Dramani Mahama we need you to come out your education your communication minister should come out and explain to Ghanaians whether indeed you've appointed 100 ministers to the 60 year only Ganafo eka wo social contract nim no na yehu senia yebesi aka yasemafa but that's notwithstanding pepacho onso so wodi na ewom o problem a ewo o mantem anase problem a one aban no ewo no aban no boso anase wamboso ni na na yese ensam no ba kumienu miensa bi wo ho no mu a okan ya eho no mempese ye be di mu nko we because it will sound like I am being political but ohwe anamo a opese otu na right on my first caller hello enti enunti sa anamo no na ewo se yehwe na afi yetuo enti nania John Dramani Mahama ede betu dwa no bre na so se won so be fraba so na wa be kira adwen endra ne nsem ode betu dwa no ogitum se Mahama betumi ahwe edi so pepepe anase eyebosrem kan in fact waba pen na yenim ne esi but this time no ohwe confidence ene ehihye ode egu akwemu a ogitum se san hihye betumi aboa ama ye jai complain wo oman ni mu na oman no enso etumi afa ne tuma papa efra 0591228584 0591228585 what the first caller we didn't be free
General
senior man iconic from the only golden city
you come to be precise
yeah
about the
there me adom no pai boy timi hoye pa
papa me tell me am papa doctor Steven Apiaji don't call na ko pon chira de bere ni se na ko papa manani so ade mo na do na me tell me for somebody man na ko ya boy chi do me no bro ko ja ta can come my head no doctor Banga enche bi oba be ya PP national youth organizer papa ne papa be bere woni mu ti odu wa delegate ni card papa ni ga
yeah
ya man panyi ni wa ba na pra so de ya kan fo ya kan do one do you na ba to be wo am ba to enter
sanete
wa ba enche 2 billion wa to wa dia
yeah
so count so go so mo na matira de papa bi o mo di first kan na ye won so bo yi mrane ne pe ye wi we campaign slow on I want to from Ghana for beside Ghana for how many people manifesto no I'm not from who Ghana for that's how but
right yeah for good morning right Febra so now also bra beche wadwen sa 0591228585 0591228584 0208440943 yeah hello good morning
General Frankly
eja Frank abulu molegu yenti o
good the problem my yawo how you come the one more so. Because I call a very after asking command could be all. You thought when over the put you back in Sika, a crop down to the room, so waterways. You can't be a net, now go for part of the theatre. You can't go dada. It's a similar Kosukwati. A quiet asable, now look at asable. Ewa abuelo, old people, put you at your Sika, down to the room, yes, fellow. As you wait, and I said, Sapo, yes, like this year. Obama Jang, your my no thank you again to what time will not your parliament. Yes, and only
right, and that's a passer from Basso. I bet you what you say. Niana Ocean, Miss Abine Becano, okay. Good morning.
I'm not to say,
Namiadum no pipe to me, Jamanasopa. We didn't be afraid free.
Oh, the friend of each other do Mr. Free, a quick man.
Yo,
I don't know.
Yo, yet you.
You, me, I am the mountain near Baba the Catcher. You plateau, one set, and that is all yes or the power. One set, a woman, one set between I could do 100. Oh, I did you one. Yeah, the amount can. You won't say, one gun at the country. Also, open ministers, Mako 50. Over 50 minutes near Yaguma. But I don't say, politics, you know, the Canada dead, and none of the Yaguma. And so, who says any panel over power, no, to me, say, or my gun and wedding. And do not just about Adana or either, what you can buy over that. Okay, you know, the choir after take a handsome one can be out, and I can be.
Mountain was him.
What you want them?
Mountain was him, but Okase infrastructure, and T. Quino Soka infrastructure, no, to be and also budget for her. Right, good morning.
Good morning, Mini Akajon. Welcome to say,
I'm no Pabonti, Alan Cash, Mijana Sopa.
Then I'm Paddy Mapa, and I'm happy, independent.
Many happy returns.
I'm doctors. That future president, the next person, no.
Yeah.
Doctor appear, they don't go. Mr. Flip was work as well. Honorable Boniface is Smithing and Pama, if Alan Kojo NSAA. Osha and Noah say a year independent, a year 68 independent. Now it's comment any message here. The president, Don Dramani Mahama, and about 2 a year. Maybe the American were back time. Now only much our share of my Ghana and some what can in the second coming year or the year to my but yet my party assume on my Ghana and count corner on my Ghana and put you. Now or no political party in the next year our Ghana I'm a that's one year so yeah. I know about one party, no, one political party, no, and let's get Ghana for this is the time with Mohammed Wahani, youngster of God, Akumapa, Jimmy Fine support, no, Majumapa on young more, my Ghana, not Ghana and Tumpo.
Right, you better surpass our friend, Jumedi no Sosa, a better arguing. Good morning.
Good morning, boss.
The patch of Dini may be all free.
And the other Kuku.
Jesus,
my friend. You know what? I'm a power come.
That's it.
Now, who's the Ghana be a Korea program or million? Share President Mama basis way, and then the Busumi, the Busumi, Ghana for would you Nipanuka Wapan, a man Busumi, Jacob Afri. Then is some more kind of will yet not do. What was something and what this is crime? Or this is America and Crow America, which is black Ghana ever. That's young people, yeah, so position will be a position. But our mind was all just there. Our mind is a
Jesus for him say online no good morning.
Good Morning. We watch Globe TV.
Globe TV ni o so live yeti we di na bi afre free.
Me watch we free Skuma.
Yo, yenti o free Skuma.
Skuma.
Yeah, yenti o.
Central region.
Right.
Me watch you fly me Abuachi.
Okay, me watch me tie o phone ni mentie TV no tie mo phone ni.
Me tie.
Africa sa yeti o.
Me watch your man can you your Mahama. What you have to do? E mu ba ku kure ni wa. Me papa e to me yem.
Adentira.
Me watch
Oh, can me pese yedi nkomo pa so utie hu TV no so. Kafra, bomode na San February nto aso. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Me pacho we din be be free.
Well, budget no be kan ye. Ngilanga more extra people on Caday. Your budget no be ready.
Yeah.
In 100 ministers no appoint you mo tambe. Na 100 ministers ni na ministers that appoint you mo so for be about that. Na Obama kan about that na. It is possible to appoint ministers no mo about that. And so that what they cut.
But according to minority leader no. Okay. Right. Me da say. Yanto aso good morning.
Good morning.
Me pacho din be be free.
Elizabeth, because I'm calling from 24 years.
Right. We are listening to you, madam.
Okay. Mr. Jinaka from Naokana. The pastor of 2 ministers. Mahama 20 ministers and 100.
Yeah.
We should leave them out. We should leave all the ministers.
He should. All right. Yeah, for good morning.
Good morning.
Me pacho we din be be free.
Pastor me di aloa ya odane me free assignment.
Right, yenti o.
Pastor adena Ghana for nya twom sa.
Oh.
Na do ba he hwe do a osiga omani timu. Ya botre good years. Now so Papa Baye, how many months? No Ghana for you expect a lot from him by this. Ghana for boy. The show. But I know what dream come on mine. Yeah. Or drink mine home. You but train. Or the mine Ghana.
Right. Miss Medase pa. So far we tete Mahama nsem no kana. Consistency be ewum. Consistency be ewum. Aha, me no me no be say analysis no da foforo. Good morning.
Good morning.
The pacho dey be free.
Pacho me dey Simon, me kasa feelings ma.
Yo, Mr. Simon etio.
Pacho, and then anka dey me expect to say Matthew Mahama Nasim no. Eh, omo ya for mo juma from September, October, November on. I to be uncle Fiano. Don't come in satisfied Covacasibia. It be a Bosumeka because after 24-hour economy, no, we be signing to me, which I say, that's as a Jumek Teniparaco, or send confirm you know, can one man. That is why I see we know Uncle Fiano. Like I used to say, the cat said, yeah, baby. Bosumeka, Nasia of a ebi aka ho na say we no kofi ampana tie na tam na ya antium na ya me ya anti Ibrahim Mahama omra na onche mo pa mi ntin.
Right. The better as a passer ofreba jumedie no esosa. Good morning.
Morning.
Pacho didn't be free. Right, into you, fear dental.
Okay. I'm going to
where to me, Jinaso? Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
I'm watching me. I'm calling from Asikuma.
Right, let's listen to you from Asikuma. All right, let's listen to you. We are listening to you.
Mommy can you see?
Right, can you see?
The amount of people you have come out there, but the many me pressure me come out and said that is it. The mama cannot help Ghana.
Okay. Okay. But based on dating our casa. Dating them our casa.
Because of your friends, we must go secondary school. First year.
Oh, MC network in the moon yet. Let's switch it up. Good morning.
Morning.
Bebacho didn't be our free.
Bacho, your favorite boy because of she adapted.
Right, into you.
Bacho, my pay, yeah, but it's smart. I'm not about the kind. I don't know means fatty. Okay, so the man come marketing kitchen, you'll be a boy. Some come marketing kitchen, none or buy or can wash but a lady or buy. As you said, I can't take but that no can wash and one care say, and the man and not the man what's not. On my you die with Savaka. Now, you're done cancer, come your first start like that one. I'm for the 24-hour economy now, or come on.
Right, Miss Medas, a passe. Offer badge media. Good morning.
Morning.
Didn't be our free Pacho.
The friend Ebenezer, I'm a free Ashaiman.
Right, Mr. Ebenezer, I ain't you free Ashaiman.
Okay, Pacho, I appreciate your program, and I think in drama, and first thing, I can say, cutting down the huge costs that are involved in another Independence Day edit of mine. In fact, I give the president thumbs up. Why are the papa? President, yeah, the papa for cutting down this huge cost. You can imagine, say, 20 million at the year, ama or mine. Roots. We use 20 million roots between here. Hospitals are there 20 million between a year, ama or mine. So I hear not in China. In Juma, in Kukon Kitting, the president or the banner. In 20 million, yeah, Kukon Kitting. You can imagine the number of youth that this 20 million can jobs a bit like create the youth of Ghana. So this step, I think this is leadership our president, at display mining in say this high level leadership. And I was very happy to say former president who say cut down cost.
Yeah.
They cut down cost 20 million. They are cutting in off maybe 1.5 on betting use. They are cutting they can channel it into job creation.
Yeah.
And the president is saying he's working and doing it for the country. Yes, supporting whether we are NPP new, we are NDC new, we are the Obian supporting. They are here say they should have the same zeal. They should have the same mindset as presidents in the world.
Yeah. Okay, right. Right. Good morning.
Good morning, Mira. And I come to say.
Now, me, I don't know why Bonti Jina and Asopa.
Because Jesus and one body, sir.
Wow, sir.
You have seen that. There's no one, I know what's on, that's the plan, the woman. I don't know what you know.
Messi.
You probably say I'm not different. Mira, you can't give us the Ghana young or then you're there. For Umbako be a Pasiada. Ubi shed up the goddamn Cacrebia, here Bonabas, near Bonabas. I know I don't course I am robbing Peter to pay Paul. Ya keep independence in the cost no so. Any a day Quacosi, a year hard village. Any a day Quaco chia, a year a telegram as one no fair no and yes sir ye a obi na akɔhyɛ ne bɔ ɛna wɔn pɛ kwan bɛfa so atua ɛna wɔn sɛ independent yɛ ti so a Ghana for bɛ sɛ oh independence in court no ɛyɛ ba from sensika no yɛ de kɔhyɛ saa area ho eti obi anya ehu no kwasa me ka kyɛ ɔma yɛ ti mu a anadwi ma na dum so ahokyerɛ no ba sɛ wuni sɛ na metoko kɔ a sɛ me de gale egu gale o
hey
gale bɛɛ wanwa
ɛnde na no ayɛ de ade nti ɔpɛ sɛ etu ana
aha
na ada ɔyɛ ma kyɛ
ahokyerɛ papa ahokyerɛ fita ɛwɔ mu no ɛna yɛkɔsi yɛ village no ɛno ne yɛ ka Ghanafoɔ na mo sɔsɔnsɔn ɛna ɛyɛ ɛna wɔn ama wɔn ɛyɛ champagne for no sɛ sɛ wɔn mu ma yɛ no nyɛ sɛ yɛ tu mu wɔ man no everyday committee everywhere committee everyday committee everywhere committee ebedi keke.
Right yeah that's a pass ofreba dwumedie no so bi ebeche wadwen sa good morning.
Good morning.
Me pacho we dini be afraid free.
Asha be Moses Tanya security in Plaza.
Right me pacho it you.
But you John Zaman mission. Second last of okay last is we the Ghanaians let's start let's say amount for 8 years. Right, I someone okay, young person say or say from 50 to 90 days, you know, already and the man okay, you know. But sure, and on my exercise say independence celebration, you know. Ghana, you celebrating independence, you know. Not too much, what so, and no everything by Ghanaian. And I remember being oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, but that's a passer with Freba, Jumedi and Subisa. Good morning. Me pacho udini baby afraid free.
My name is Francis. I'm calling from Adenta.
Right, Mr. Francis, let's listen to you from Adenta.
Please, I just want to ask that 24 hours economics, we the people who are not working from the government side, how are we going to benefit from it?
Okay, right. So I think there's a question to the gods. At the appropriate time, we will get an expert to come and give us that explanation. We would get an expert. So thank you. Yeah. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Me pacho we didn't be free.
Your friend is Francis. Free Adam.
Right, Mr. Francis, into free Adam.
Yo, mpacho program no. The person is so my dream kapra na.
Right, what dream?
Me 34 bin wate. Obi be di 8 years wate me anya shi. Obi ba onya too no criticizing no say oh yes say. E di time ya mana yi nkofo no ye no mo jana omo president no fa na dream e fa bo o man no na ye nyamwa e zo ka. Okay, we need
right, that's a pastor of good morning.
No, I mean, I have say.
Yamia Domino Pipe went to me. We didn't be our free.
They was your friend, Dr. Newman, free tema.
Right, into
committee. Let me ask you. In Chia, a year, Nanaka Blankese, AK, Nanaki, a glass of body, Kuko, that's him, because you super no Martin. Na honorable Hawa Clinton, income national woman organization. In Abema, ye car, na ye car, me or my penny, Ninama or ye, and then the media Antiasi. Because coming Kuma, independence hormone. And what ye said, me now, someone even or this was a winter baby, yeah, best celebrating. Impo and I said the fire away and put on, wedding birthday. About a little birthday. Yeah, I had Monga said, being birthday, and then me walking to the castle. And your man, sister, and I didn't decide, you know. If you can just cut the cost, you need to work your side because I was a presidential staffers now. Or you don't say. So that's it. What cut the cost, you know, the ministers who are fucking. Also, presidential staffers no more than your what we picture to pay for. What does it mean? I don't know many because the Kata gradually, you know, or move good independence, open some trouble, no. Research in the bit of Ghana, research, no, be Okuno, and you will be a boy or celebrity. Who calls it? You don't who's our what we now just 1 hour. It was share a car no. What me now just 1 hour. E be celebrate ya no. E je me yes ka krebi. Obo I kwa kwa the don. Or that I keke. Again for me sha ya and for my obo so much obo come class for. It in omo yi come e da kwade na so bu na mo so. E so back to Tamatia and kuma ka kwade oye ni na no obo na atunto ye. That land. And a deadlock, Nina Sifoni, a Casaman, no one good home to 20 years.
Right, you better that's a pass over for about Jumediano. So, my family last 2 callers, Namede, or Fred Jumediano Abbey. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Pacho would dinner be free.
Right,
into Kumasi.
Like, one Kasakwana about the 100 ministers, no.
Yeah.
So, the ministers not the 200.
But Jose,
ministers not president not born within the 200. And why you as a journalist also cover about 100 ministers?
Dabi, me say na minority no eka. Abuji na po say me ba to was my say. Or say Abuji na po say president are appointed 100 ministers. And I mean so me say government etesa bra through the communications minister Mr. Felix Kwache na ombe chere say eyampa say ma appointed 100 na say intra enye no kre senior all no 60 ministers 40 na eka ho no say intra sana me pa chere but I'm not in support me pa what you say. All right. Right. Anything I had a day of Fred Jumediani na edibesi. Sanete to the bia offer baswa we must debate on certain things. Na program na nyame nkwa na me mienu na mensaka messages wo ahase na making kind mamesha say free say the current government of Ghana should implement policies and programs to create job opportunities for the youth, such as internship, apprenticeship, and also to provide resources, mentorship, and funding opportunities to help young entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses. Also, I believe that the 24-hour economy will help us to acquire these initiatives. Enoch Johnson, watching you live from Begro. So Enoch, good morning to you and thank you for the message. We also aiding our birthday. I say happy birthday to you, brother, from another Aziz Ademu, aka Champion Kalito, currently in Kumasi. I wish you long life with good health, more blessings, and more prosperity from Osman. And happy birthday to you, bro. Age, long life, and grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Right, and I did Jumedian na ede ebesi. Na watching when you know edin komo bebre. Na ope in some titira. But more than your website and also www.globetvonline.com. www.globetvonline.com. The patcho interface no and I was screen so no. Udru interface no so I say ya any say kama pa e dia ma. Ni a wo hwehwe biara. Wonsa ebeka no wo honom. Me sorry so when say me to sorry so bra me nchia me sponsor. Me sponsor shout out. Jeffers Health Company Limited for Edamase. Say mo be so yese ne sen asene mayede dwumedi be som Ghana for. Emu no crane information e wo say Ghana for nya. Emu hire bia eba bia so ebi ekamo. Sana etie. Enti Jeffers Special Pickups so ne edura. Eyema oba eyema obema usisi mu etare opa bomode ma onsanka edroni bi enemu sayare bema pese ogina so brane oba pese wo ye oba sima bomode fa ho to edrono so emame nonom impo yare anasa wonyare fa ho to so mame na ebeboa ama wapomodin etumpon Dr. Stephen Apieje don ko wani the future president in the making yankopon shiraw oni ebusu no onka mo ho Alexander Ohineje ne Joanna Deku eye me able producers papa me som ho bopo a enye ye nyankopon enka mo ho Bright Ewusi graduate says your friend Bright Ewusi trending I ono so eka ho bi Mickey Boy Darling Fatal DJ Swale DOP Kelvin Yebo abeni oba hima na na the first segment be so mo nyame adoma dasende ye be